What's up guys, welcome to episode 5 of Arjun Right Now, and today I'm going to show you some of my production secrets. I'm going to show you each and everything that I've done in the project as quickly as I can. So first thing I do is usually I put down some chords, put down some vocal melodies, and then over that we kind of build a structure for the song. Now it's super important to build a structure. So always remember while composing something that your melody, lyrics, structure, these are always more important than just sound, and that's how you get that overall picture and that clarity of finishing the song. And now I'll tell you how I kind of break down the track. So like I said, the first thing I do is put down some chords. In the chords, now this is where the chords are on my session. It's in harmony. Keyscape is a great plugin for keyboards. I use this a lot, the Rhodes Classic. It just sits so well with my voice, so this kind of sound, it's a little gritty. If you're listening to this on headphones, you'll know what I mean. And it just kind of cuts through. I add some more layers over this, which is more like a pad, which just kind of sits over it, so you kind of just feel it rather than hear it. Another pad which is more synthy. Then next we go into an arpeggiator. Now this gives it a really hip-hop kind of sound, like something that you would hear on a rap track. And I love this sound particularly from Serum. As you can see, there's a lot of plugins here, but this is the plug that I've used. I added a Faturator CLA plugin, a multi-band compressor, and this is a plugin I would recommend everybody that download. It's called Kickstart by Nicky Romero. It's super common for any electronic music producer. But if you are an electronic music producer, this just makes your stuff sound amazing. It just sounds very plain without straight, without any bounce. Then you add something, it just kind of, which is what you get your kind of your head bobbing. You know what I mean? Then I kind of put in some drums. Almost all of the space in your track is going to be taken up by drums. So this is my kick sound. Now it sounds really weak, but that's because I've put a low end, a low cut on it. So it just kind of comes in with the bass here, you feel it in your chest kind of kick, So I'll show you with the track what that sounds like from a thin low cut kick. Just kind of feel it, just kind of get excited about it. So once I have a kick, I've used a couple of snares and then once I have a kick, I have a snare, and you put in all these little bit, I change my claps and my hi-hats a lot. Hi-hats are super important as well. I'm using this really cool loop that I found. So this also adds a top, together this is what is called a top layer. So this top layer is a mix of hi-hats, snares, little percussion instruments that you use, cymbals. I think cymbals are super important as well. So you get that excitement. That excitement comes from the high end. And same thing in your harmony section. If you notice, there's a lot of different things happening. Even in my interludes, you will find a little bit of. I love this sound. It's actually a bass sound that I've kind of made into a lead. It comes again later. It's kind of just, you know what I mean? It's just got this very cool electronic feel to it. And then once I have all this, then I kind of get onto the bass, which I love doing. Sub basses are my favorite. Now this I've used a sample. You can see my signal chain here. So it sounds something like this. So again, there's a low cut on it. So in the beginning, it's really thin, and then it kind of comes in here and becomes like this. So when you put the bass in with the drums, it just sounds you know what I mean? I do a lot of layering with my vocals, a lot. Okay, I'll play some harmonies for you, especially in a hook line. I put in a bunch of layers. So here's my harmony layers. Saturday ka ye bukhar hai, subah 4 baje wala pyar hai. So when you hear this kind of in the track, it just fills it up that much more. I'm going to put the main vocals up. It's in the back, right at the back. You can still hear it, right? And then let's go to my favorite part of this track, which is the vocal synth. Now, this is entirely made for my voice. Like I sang every part of it, and the reason it's called a vocal synth is because it's made from the voice, right? So you take like a sample. I'm going to put the effects off first. There's an auto tune on it which gives it like this. I'll get into that, but this is what it sounded like, you know, before we put any effects on it. Now just remember that on the master there's a bunch of other, you know, there's an entirely different signal chain on this, but the sonic quality of the voice is coming from the track itself. Then the group is kind of giving it like I said, Nicky Romero is kind of side chaining the shit of it later on the master. If I take this out, it becomes very straight again. But with this is how I made this. I sang it, then I pitched it down to say like -12, so it sounds like this. I love Ableton for this because I can kind of do this like real time, don't have to add any plugins, and the pitch shift, you know, effect is super on this. Then I put auto-tune on this. The reason I put auto-tune on this is because it gives it that quality of like sounding electronic then, you know. Something happens to like the whole, you know, the sound on like a fundamental level, it changes. Because, you know, the transients change, there is definitely a huge sonic quality change once you put auto-tune on it. And then I put like other effects on it, like CLA effects is really cool. And then there are different layers of this, right? So you kind of, so together it will kind of give you that big sound that you want. Yeah. So to kind of sum it up, it's super important to be organized. You want to take breaks every hour. Try to make a sound on your own and then kind of like bettering it with every track. Like I think that's what gives you like a style. And eventually it'll reflect when you make like 5 or 6 tracks, then people will be like, hey, that sounds like a XYZ track, you know, because they hear the same kick, snare, bass, you know, synth sounds, and they go like, okay, yeah, that's very XYZ. So hope this video helped you. If you like the video, make sure you press follow, like, share, and comment. See you guys next time.